enable that. Okay, so your question is how many VMs it's supporting for a single recovery services vault, if I understood
Yes.
correctly.
Yes. That's
Okay.
the one. Yeah.
So that's something you won't see. I mean, if you are looking documentation and looking for the answer of this question, you won't find that under backup section, right? For that, you need to look at the section of recovery services vault. So under one subscription, you can have up to 500 recovery services vault. And in one recovery
Okay.
services vault, I believe the number of VMs that you can backup is 1000.
Oh,
Okay.
that's nice. That's nice. Okay.
Let me validate that, yeah.
Yep. They keep changing the policies.
I mean, the numbers are keep changing. Yeah, that's correct. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So up to 500 volts in a subscription and up to 1000 virtual machines in a single vault. So that
Okay.
answers your question. The second thing is
Yes.
disk
Yes.
size, right?
Yes.
So I believe for disk size limit, I believe for operating system the limit was 2 terabyte, and for data drive it was 4 terabyte,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's still there, right?
Mm-hmm.
But
Okay.
in case if you want, you can connect with Microsoft and they would increase that, right?
Okay.
They would enable large disk backup for your account.
So we have to pay for that extra, right?
No, you don't need to pay anything extra for that. So you can go to this page and can check about pricing, right? So
Can
if you
you
would,
share the screen? We are unable
oh,
to see the screen.
oh, sorry,
At least not.
sorry. Nobody is able to see that screen.
Yeah. Able to see the screen now. Yes.
Okay. So that is where you
Yes.
would
We
find
have.
up to 500 volts and up to 1000 BMs
Mm-hmm.
per a
Mm-hmm.
single volt. So that's one
Correct.
thing from a pricing perspective. Okay, from pricing point of view, if you would see per instance up to 50 GB, it's $5 plus storage consumed cost, and that storage is
Mm-hmm.
something which is going to Azure Blob, so you can calculate the cost from that perspective. And if instance size is greater than 500 GB, then the cost is $10 each
Right.
500 GB increment plus storage consumed. So you can
Okay.
calculate that from there. Just look for Azure documentation, and that is where you would find this is there, right? Pricing,
Mm-hmm.
under which
Yep.
you can find all that detail. So by default,
Got it.
for operating system drive, it's 2 terabyte. For data drive, it's 4 terabyte. But you can connect with Microsoft support, ask them to increase that limit or enable the backup for large drives, and they will enable that on your account. And based on that, in future, you can take backup of any larger drives as well.
Got it. So we don't have to pay anything for this backup services, right? Backup and recovery.
Again, you are paying, na?
Mm.
You are
Yes.
paying.
Already for
If you
subscription,
would
yes.
see, no. If you would see,
Mm.
per instance, five up to 50 GB, you are paying $5
Yes. Yes.
per per
Yes.
machine.
Yes. Yep.
And if
Got it.
that size is more than like up to 500 GB, then $10. And
ten
if that
dollars. Yep.
size is greater than 500 GB, then $10 for each 500 GB. So
Each
suppose there
500
is a
GB increment.
machine of 2 terabyte, right? So you can calculate the cost.
Okay. Got it.
And then backup cost, storage cost, you can calculate it here, right? Whatever zone type you are using. So you can calculate
Mm-hmm.
that here. So this
Okay.
JDRS thing I was talking about in that recovery services vault replication types, right? So
Mm-hmm.
this is something not available for all regions. As of now, it's available for like I think UK and some other regions
Mm-hmm.
and few other regions only. In general, you would
Mm-hmm.
see either this LRS, locally redundant, or geo-redundant.
Okay.
This RAGRS is nothing but when you would enable that cross-region restore, right? So that is where it would charge for this as well. So this is from the
Okay.
perspective of that.
Okay.
And SLA and other things you can read out here. You know,
Okay.
99.9.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Okay. Mhm. The other thing is, as we were discussing about I have already talked about how you can restore your VMs in primary region, right? Now, think from the perspective of this whole region is down. Now, how would you restore your VM? So that is where you can go to VM either from the recovery services vault, right? So suppose, what is that? Let me go to this one. Protected items. Okay, on this vault, I probably don't have that GRS enabled. So let me go to this and see. Okay, so on this we have that enabled. So that is where you would go there, or you can go to that backup center. From there, you would go to protected items. The remaining process is same. It's just the difference of like on from which console you are accessing it. At Recovery Services Vault console, you would just see the backups and policies configured for that particular Recovery Services Vault. From VM Blade, you would see it only for that VM. From Backup Center, it would see for everything. That's the centralized management point, right? So that is where, okay, let me move to that backup center only. Probably that is something would make more sense, because in future anyhow that is something even Microsoft is recommending to use, and the same you can check from Recovery Services Vault overview. If you would see this, so you would see this notification coming there. Even they are recommending to use that backup center. Okay. Backup instances. Selected is minus through recovery services vault. So guys, as of now, that backup I believe is still in running state, right? So that's why we don't see any restore point available. And for secondary reason, it would be available only when that snapshot is replicated to your recovery services vault, and that recovery services vault data is replicated to secondary region, right? But the process is very similar. You need to come here, right? You need to come to the backup center or recovery services vault blade, and from there you need to select that backup restore point and then simply restore to secondary region. So I mean the options which are available here, I'm not sure I would call it easy or bit different from the last options that we had there. So what I would say, let me show it from there if that makes more sense for you guys. So from here, you need to go to protected items. Oh, sorry, backup items. Select secondary region, right? Azure Virtual Machine. This is the machine, but again, the initial backup is happening, so you won't be able to restore it. So that's a different thing, but still you can restore that from here only. You need to go to secondary region, you will click here, and once you will like once this is replicated, you would get hyperlink. You would click here, you would be on that recovery I mean what we call it, backup points, and then click on that and restore it. So that is how you can restore it. Anyone has any question on that?
No.
Okay, let me show the same thing from the VM Blade as well. Then we will move to replication part. So here to restore it, you need to go to backup. And there is one more thing that I forgot to tell you. In case if you want to like initiate a ad hoc backup, go to that VM, initiate it from here, right? You can simply do that. But one thing you need to keep in mind, any ad hoc backup that you would initiate out of that backup policy, for that backup, you would be required to give a retention Otherwise, it would keep it, I mean, for any, I mean, it would keep it, what we call it, infinite, for infinite time.
Okay. Then we have to pay for all that time then.
Exactly, exactly. So whenever we are taking an ad hoc backup, we need to uh, uh, assign a retention period. As you can see here, okay, backup now. You can see this option, right? Retain backup till.
Mm-hmm.
Now let me see if I am not providing this option. I never tried it. So would it give me that option to initiate that backup? It's triggered, right? So it's
Yeah,
kind of, it
infinite.
would save it for infinite period for those 499 time, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the thing. Protected items, where it was. Okay, sorry, you won't see that protected item from here. That is something would be available on that either recovery services bolt or backup bolt. Oh, sorry, backup center blade only. Okay, someone sending. It's fine. Okay, now talk a bit about replication. So for that, first go to recovery services vault. Okay, here you need to keep a few things in mind. You have your source region, right? Where you have VMs. Like in this case, we have VMs in US East region, right? So if you want to configure a recovery services vault, then you you need to create a recovery services vault in a different region than what is your source region. Otherwise, when you will go and try to configure the replication, it would give you an error. So that's one thing you need to keep in mind. You can configure that replication policies from that recovery services bolt blade. There are two part of that. First is enable replication and then create replication policies, right? So, okay, let me go to any bolt. So this is the bolt, suppose. So if you would go enable site recovery, right? The first thing you would enable replication for any VM, right? Any number of VM. And once that replication is enabled, after then you will create your recovery plans. So these recovery plans are nothing but you are kind of orchestrating the boot order when you would execute or do that failover or failback. Any question on this?
Can you elaborate on that issue, please? Any with the used case, that would be
Okay.
good.
Suppose you have an application, right? It's a three-tier application. So where you have that need, you have seen this in production where you need to for any given application, you need to start the VMs in a predefined sequence. Otherwise, that application won't work, and you would be required to manually intervene to start some services. Have you seen that kind of scenario?
Yep, during the cluster from active to passive, it happens.
I mean, I'm not talking about here that cluster thing,
Yes,
but
yes.
in certain applications, it's not true for all the applications. One, in certain
Mhm.
applications, you need to have your database services up before you start your reboot your applications over, right?
Yep, yep.
So that,
SQL instances, yes,
yeah,
yes, yes. SQL
that's
instances.
the thing. There are some other specific scenarios where you need to even the application cluster where you need to reboot or do something with the first VM first and then the second VM. So that is where you need to start the VMs in a given order.
Yes, yes, yes,
So
yes.
that is
That's true.
where you
Yes, yes.
would use these recovery plans to orchestrate all that reboot or recovery process.
Okay,
Hope
okay.
it makes sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We used to have that kind of machines where we have to
I mean, in any
power on.
environment, you would see
And
one or two application, right, which is having this kind of need. But in general, you won't see that. But at times, I mean, it depends to application, how the application is built.
yeah, yeah, correct.
Okay, so from replication perspective, there are multiple options that you have. If you have like multiple if you are planning for a application recovery, right? In most of the cases, you won't have that one tier application. It would be like two tier or three tier, right? Where you have three different tiers for one application. Everything is installed on a separate server. Web server is different, application is different, and database is different. So if that kind of scenario, you would be required to go ahead and configure the recovery, configure the, that, what we call it here. I'm missing that term. Let me go to recovery services port. I am forgetting that term again and again. Okay, site recovery. Okay, so for individual machine, you can configure it from the virtual machine blade itself. You don't need to go here. You can configure that from there as well. But if you are planning to configure for multiple VMs, multiple applications, right, which are like two tier, three tier applications, so that is where you are required to configure it from this blade. So first I would show you how you can configure the same for an individual virtual machine. So you need to go to your virtual machine, go to disaster recovery, and that option is something you will find under operations. So this blade would show you all the paired region. So when I'm talking about paired region, so from Azure perspective, they have different paired region where you can enable the replication. So based on that, you will get those options. So this VM is something which is in US East. So as you can see on the map, these are the multiple regions which are available to replicate this VM. You can see the same from here as well, like all the Azure availabilities in US, all those are available here. So suppose I want to replicate it US Central, right, or Canada East. So select that. Okay, okay, that's a completely different story. Suppose I want to replicate it to South Central US, right? I need to select that. Then under advanced settings, okay, before going to advanced settings, probably I need to show you. Okay, so this is one thing. You did that, you selected the target region. You can simply click on review and start replication. Okay, and it would start replicating your virtual machine. But most of the time in production environment, you won't do this, right? Anyone can tell me why you won't do this? Atul, Shamsuddin, or anyone else?
No. Yes, sir. I'm just
You won't
understanding this concept.
do this just because in this case it would create your network and other infrastructure with default settings, right? Where you might think of having a pre-existing setup there in that region, and you want to use that instead of using these default setups, right? And that is something you can see from within the advanced options, right? So if you're just testing something or just want to have a kind of backup available somewhere, right? And where you can, without restoring it, you can simply power it on and start using it. That is where probably you might, this use case might suit you where you can use this. Otherwise, you would be required to go and then previous, then click on this advanced settings. From here, it would give you an option to customize those things, right? So by default, what it would do, whatever settings you have in your source virtual machine resource group subscription, based on that, it would just add a suffix as an ASR, sorry. So suppose I have a VNet 1. So in that target region, it would create a VNet 01 dash ASR, and similarly resource group and other resources. However, if you are going with this advanced option, that is where it would give you an option to customize it. customize in a way if you have your existing setup, network configuration, other things available there, you can select those things, right? Suppose you have a VNet there, everything is defined from security and other perspective, you can select all those things and without worrying like is it having that energy, what ports are enabled and other things, without worrying about that you can configure this replication. So you need to keep that thing in mind. Otherwise, even with that option, it would simply mimic your current configuration in that, but makes more sense to configure uh, that environment prior configuring this replication thing, right? The another thing is availability. That is where you can configure availability set, availability zone. So that's a completely different topic. So I can just mention like single instance is single instance. Availability set is something where you can configure your update domain and fault domain. Update domain is nothing where you have multiple machines. All those machines won't be like updated. The underlying host of all those machines won't be updated at the same time. And the fault domain is something where if whatever fault domain you would select based on that number of fault domains, every domain would be having a separate power, what we call it, power configuration and network switches. So based on that, so like any infrastructure level fault at that site won't affect all the VMs which are there in that availability set. Availability zone is something where your machine would be replicated within more than one zone in that region. So that's something part of high availability. So I would leave it as is. Proximity placement, what is that? Select the proximity group in the target region of failover. We will try to bring up the target VM, select subject to availability constraint. So that is something I will have to check about. I'm not sure what it actually does, right? So I would leave it to you guys, just check about it as well at your end. Proximity placement, select the group in target region on failover. Try to bring up the target VMs in the selected proximity subject. Okay. So, if you are configuring multiple VMs, then probably you can create this proximity placement group type of thing there, and put all those VMs in. Like you will get this option kind of here, and put any other VMs which are configuring for the same region in this group. So these VMs are something which would be, get some precedence, I believe, some priority for other. Storage setting is something where, as I was mentioning, whatever is there based on that it would create. So that is something you can configure from here. You can change the storage type if you want to change, right? In that secondary region, suppose your VM is standard SSD, you want to change it to premium or anything else, that you can change those things here. Replication setting, you can check those settings here, which recovery services vault it's using. So by default, like it would use uh, any of those. If you are having multiple, like if you have backup or anything configured, so by default it would use that, right? Let me see if it, okay. So in case if you have any other for replication, you can use that as well. Replication policy, 24-hour retention policy. Okay, so it's something which would keep that recovery point for 24 hours. Extension setting. Okay, so this is something you can leave as default. So based on that, whatever you have, based on that, it would manage that. Next, you can click review and start replication. So once you would click on that, you can click here under activity log. It would show you some options. So it's basically creating all those resources which are required. As you can see, right? So that is where I was mentioning it would be better if you would have all those things prior to configuring this. Okay, so let me return back to that virtual machine. I believe I was configuring it for U01. Okay, where is that? Just recovery. No, it was not U01. Then probably U02. It seems it's still in that configuration phase. Create a site. So guys, it would take some time. So meanwhile, I can show you how you can configure the same from Recovery Services Vault Blade. So once it would complete, then we will revisit it again. So go to Recovery Services Vault, enable site recovery. And then from here, either you can select that enable site recovery from the overview page, or you can go to getting started and select site recovery from there. In both cases, you would get the same screen. Then enable replication. So that is where I was mentioning. So that is where you would be required to use a different recovery services vault. Then in what region you have your virtual machines. So this recovery services vault is also in US East, so you won't be able to use this. So use a recovery services vault which is in a different region. So suppose I am going to use this one, US based 03. Even for that VM that we configured, it used a different recovery services vault. Go to overview, enable site recovery. Okay. Enable replication. Select the source location. So they are US East because my VMs are in US East. Leave it as is. Resource manager classic was a deployment type which was being used in earlier, but now it's something which is ARM. So that's resource manager. So leave it as is. I have this single subscription, so leave it as is. Resource group. Okay, why it's not popping up? Let me check something else, then return it to resource manager. But it's not showing. Let me use this use. Probably it's in use, maybe. That's the reason it's not showing me. Let me move to this use central one. And then click enable replication. Source US East, leave it, resource manager. Okay. So as you can see, you get the detail of all your resource groups. So you need to select the resource group in which you have your virtual machines. So in my case, I have my virtual machine in, just an example, I have my virtual machine is test resource group, right? Test RG. Okay, I would leave this disaster recovery between availability zone. No, for now. This is something between zones, not the regions. Select next. So you will, on next screen, you will find the BMs, right? So suppose I want to enable it for this VM or this VM as well. By that way, I can show you that replication pol. Oh, sorry, the recovery plan thing. Click next. And then here, if you want to change the target subscription, suppose in case if you want to like replicate these BMs to a different subscription, you can do that as well. From here, you can customize that, right? Otherwise, leave it as is. Here, you can customize the target site setting, right? What would be the resource group, what would be the storage account, and other detail. As you can see, all of that. So as I was saying earlier, it would be better if you would prepare your target resource group and other detail. I mean BNet and other things prior configuring it. It's better. Otherwise, if you would use the default option, it would just add a suffix as dash ASR and create all those resources, right? So in retention policy, you can customize it as well. As of now, it's a 24-hour retention policy. You can customize it. You can create a new one, right? However, I would leave it as is for this demo. Multi-VM constant. Do you want to enable multi-VM constant by creating a new replication group? Select yes to replicate machines together. Select no to replicate failover machine. Okay. So if you would see this option, so if you would click on yes, then what would happen? It would replicate these VMs together, right? So they would have the same level of consistency. So if these VMs belongs to a single application, you want to keep the data level at same, that is where you can use this option, right? Otherwise, if these are machine which you, I mean, have no dependency, then you can leave it as no. Okay, I am keeping it as replication group. You can create a replication group, right? So suppose this is a group you are using which these machines would be replicated, right? So I would call it new. Yeah. I would select these two VMs, click OK. Policy name. Let me click on yes. Enable replication. So this is something would enable replication. However, this is something which would take time. As earlier, it would first prepare the infrastructure in your target region, and then it would enable the replication. So anyone has any questions so far? I believe like a few people join in between. Guys, I would request you to speak up. By that way, we would, I mean, we both learn something.
For me, I think it's okay till now. I missed a couple of things there, but it's okay.
Okay,
Same here, sir.
good. Okay, actually, I was missing that part. I forgot like for which VM I enabled that. So initially, it was enabled for this VM U03. So as I can see, meanwhile, whoever joined late, so first I configured the replication for an individual VM, and then while it was configuring, we moved to that recovery services vault and created, enabled replication for other VMs. So here, as you can see, you can simply fail it over or do the test failover. So suppose I want to fail it over to target region, I can simply click here. You can see failover direction from your EC2 based From RTO perspective, you can select that, right? It's not that one actually, guys. So probably this is the one. I was last day I was taking something, that is where I enabled. But here, let me select this one. Okay. So here you can select these options: shut down machine before beginning failover. So it would initiate that failover. I believe again this is something would take time. And guys, if this meeting stops, I would start the meeting again till we cover this thing, probably 5-10 minutes. Okay, let's move to that recovery services vault thing again. So here we configured the replication of those VMs. Here now, to see like what are all the replications which are configured, you can simply go to this site recovery option or select site recovery from here. I think it's already in that configuration phase. So once everything would be configured, you would see a different screen here. So I think we need to give it a few minutes to get that completed, and then we can see that failover process. And that failover process is similar that I just showed you there. However, here the thing is you can fail over multiple machines. Let me see if it gives me any option to under recovery plans. Site, if you would see. So here it would so as you can see in next screen, on the same screen, it would ask me to select the protected items. As of now, that's something is still in configuration, so it won't let me to configure that before that. So let me cancel that. On the failover, okay. If you start the replica VMs. Okay, so the VM 03 for which we initiated the failover. You can see the same here. Go to virtual machines. I believe there would be new VM listed there. So as you can see, this is the VM. You would see this is the VM that is created in US based region, right? And if you would see the configuration and other things for this VM, test RG, right? Similarly, with the ASR suffix, it would have been created new resource group and other things, right? You can see that. So these are the things. Any questions so far?
Nice.
Good. So now as you can see, the VM in our source region, US East one, is in a stop deallocated state, and the one which is created in the destination region is in powered on state. Now we need to go to that machine, go to disaster recovery, and need to click on commit. So commit is something what it would do. It would like based on whatever recovery point you selected, based on that it would commit the changes to your machine, right? However, in any case you logged in that machine, you are not satisfied with the data that you have, or probably the consistency. In that case, you can click on change recovery point. You can select a different recovery point from the available ones. That's the another thing. Once you are done, then you can click on commit, click OK, and it would commit the failover in the target location. This is something might take a few minutes. Now it's successful. Close it, go to virtual machine. So now your virtual machine is available in your target region. You can go log in, right? The other thing is how you can fail back. Go to disaster recovery again in the target region on the virtual machine which is created in target region. Select disaster recovery, because now it's not something which is in sync with the source VM, right? Because that VM is down. Now that VM is that region is available again. You want to fail back. So how you would fail back? That is where you would use this reprotection option. Click on that and click OK. So what it would do, it would power off this virtual machine and power on your actual machine, which is there in your primary region. So from here, you can click on this reprotect tab and it would power off your current VM and power on the another VM which is in your source region. So let me click there. So this would initiate the failback actually.
Okay.
So what it does, it would power off your current VM, which is, this recovered VM, and then power on the VM which is there in your source region. So from session perspective, this is all for today. Thanks for joining. Hope we would connect again next week.
Surely, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. Bye.
Bye-bye.